What's going on, guys? I'm TieFly85.
And I'm T-Rec87. And today we want to talk to you guys, 2017 almost at a close. We figured we would look forward to, what's coming to us in 2018. And there are so many good movies and video games that basically we just wanted to take a look at them today and let you guys know what's coming up for us. So first off, we're going to start off with the video games. We're just doing 5 of each. This is not a list of in any particular order, just games and movies that we thought were really cool. But the first one that I have seen that has been on my radar for quite a while now is Marvel's Spider-Man. And the Marvel Spider-Man game, if you have not watched the trailer for this game, you need to go watch it. It is beautiful. It is gorgeous. If you guys have not seen... a long time ago, it was back in the PS2 days, there was I think it was Spider-Man 2. And it was a Spider-Man game set in kind of like a open city where you could swing around and stop. You would have missions obviously, but you would be able to stop crimes and stuff like that, randomly happening throughout the world. And it was such a good game. I don't know, did you ever play that game, TieFly?
Yeah, I actually did. I actually did play that game. I thought it was way fun.
It was such a good game, and this game is shaping up from what I have seen in the trailer. I'm hoping that this is the successor to that, because there have been a lot of really good Spider-Man games over the year, but this game seems to be taking elements from the Arkham Knight series or the Arkham series. As far as combat goes, there's going to be some stealth in there. Yeah, I know.
I can totally see that. Yeah, I just recently watched the trailer, so I could totally agree. And where he's saying that it pulls from that Dark Knight-esque type of feel from it. It definitely has that really awesome feel when you're playing the Dark Knight Arkham Asylum, where when you jump across, he's just able to go so much further. But with Spider-Man, obviously, since he has those really far jumping abilities and stuff, it just looks so cool. If none of you have seen this trailer, definitely go check it out.
Yeah, you guys. After we're done with the show, since we are doing this live, I will try to link as many of the trailers for as much of the stuff as we can when it pops up. But yeah, just go search for it. It's super good. It looks amazing. The next one up on my list is one that I have been waiting for so long. It is Kingdom Hearts 3, and again, this is one of those games that this has actually been a game that has had some pretty big production issues. They had to switch engines mid-development. It forced them to redo a lot of the stuff in the game because they switched over to the Unreal Engine because by their own admission, Square Enix, their Luminous engine sucked. It was terrible. And it was super broken, and that was actually part of part of the problem with what Final Fantasy 15 was. But again, this is another one of those games. If you're a fan of the older Kingdom Hearts games, I know you know what I'm talking about. We've been waiting for a full-fledged sequel for I don't even know how many years it's been. It's been 8 years, I think. And I've played pretty much all of the side games, Birth by Sleep. All the DS games, Chain of Memories, all that, and I am so excited for this game. I don't know, have you ever played Kingdom Hearts?
I have played Kingdom Hearts. I just want to let you all know out there watching this that this is how big of a fan T-Rec87 is of Kingdom Hearts. I remember one day being at his house, and we were having a couple drinks, just kind of hanging out, and all he was doing on his TV was watching all of the cutscenes from the first game all the way to the last game of Kingdom Hearts. It was literally, I don't even know, it was 3 hours worth of cutscenes. Was that about right? About 3 hours?
It was I don't know. A lot of hours, but it was
it was a lot of
compilation
hours
of the story.
But it was every single game cut together in the way that it should have been cut together throughout all the games, so it was really fun. It was kind of cool to watch, but I just thought I'd throw that out there to let you guys know, he's a super huge nerd when it comes to Kingdom Hearts.
I am. I'm one of the few people that I can actually. I'm one of the few people that actually knows what's going on with the story, because Kingdom Hearts is super convoluted, and I'm one of those people that I've researched it. You shouldn't have to do this with video games, but I've researched it. I read all the Wikipedias. I rewatch all the cutscenes and analyze them. I am I'm a Kingdom Hearts freak. It's because they're such good games. They've got such great stories. Great themes about friendship and this and that and the other, and also great characters. I mean, I love Disney, and I love Final Fantasy. Probably two of my top favorite franchises, and there they
Yeah,
are.
that was the biggest thing that like appealed to me when I first saw it was the Disney and Final Fantasy,
You know
because it
what's-
was really awesome to
Yeah.
see. I think the first character I had ever seen was who was from Final Fantasy VII with the giant sword.
Cloud.
Yeah, Cloud. Apologize. But him, like when you first saw him for the first time ever in one of the Kingdom Hearts games, like I don't know. I remember the first time I ever saw it, I was blown away. I was just like, "What? In a Disney game?
Yeah,
how is this happening?"
And that's actually, it's really funny because I remember when the first one came out, I was like a teenager, and I honestly like did not want to play it like when I was like 14, 15 or however old I was. Because I was just like, I was like, my revered Final Fantasy series was like with Mickey Mouse. I was like, this is going to be weird. And I thought it was going to be like a little kid's game, and then you end up playing it, and it blew me away. So again, I can't overstate enough how much of a fan I am of the series. And when Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, you're all going to watch me freak out about it. And I'd probably be freaking out for the next few months. Because it's slated, hopefully, to come out this year. I don't think there's been like a firm release date, but I would expect holiday time next year. This will be the game we see. So anyway, moving on. The next game on as far as the games I'm looking forward to in 2018 is Far Cry 5. And this is another game where I am a huge fan of the series, not as much as like Kingdom Hearts, but like Far Cry 3 was one of the few games where I went through and I like 100%ed everything. Like I did all the extra like hunting the animals and like all the side objectives on the map. And I haven't played Far Cry Primal, but I did play 4. These are all like, they're always like a really solid game, and if you want a game with like a lot to do, these are a really good series. And the trailer for this one as well looked just, I like the setting, the middle America, like country town, been taken over by crazy religious zealots. It's a really cool, edgy, I guess, theme. And another one I'm super excited for. I don't know, have you played any of the Far Cries or no?
No, I never did play any of the Far Cries. I know Far Cry as a series, though, has had a little bit of trouble in the past when it comes to like controversial things.
Yeah.
So I do know Far Cry as a series. I've never played the game, but it definitely looks. I did watch the trailer for Far Cry 5, and it looks amazing. I would definitely play that game.
Yeah, they're always a little bit edgy, just because they're not they don't shy away from the brutality. Like a lot of times these games are set a little bit more in like I don't know, like third world-ish countries, I guess. There's a lot more like militaristic action. And you've got like these various like military organizations, and in the beginning of Far Cry 4, I don't know if you ever saw like the cover for that game, but there's a dude in like a purple suit, and he's like sitting on a chair, but it's on top of like 2 other people. Mm-hmm. Like in the very beginning of the game, he shoots someone in the head just like the first like 2 minutes of the game. He just like blasts someone. So it's a very good game, but they're just not afraid to dance around like the real issue. They dive straight in. So it's another one that everyone should definitely be looking out for. This next one is going to be my reason for buying another PlayStation 4. I had one at one point, and then one of my buddies at work, his Xbox broke. And the disc drive broke, and he wanted to still be able to play games, so I sold it back. I sold him the PlayStation 4 because I didn't really play it as much, but I'll be getting another one for God of War. This is another one that I think is going to be fantastic. I always love the God of War series. I played, I think, all of them, even like the portable PSP or the Vita or whatever. But they're always really solid games, and I hope... my biggest concern, like, God of War has kind of gotten into this trope where it's like just like kind of an action game, and it kind of relies on like the hyper violence. I don't know if you ever saw, like, did you ever play God of War 3?
I never played God of War 3, but I did play God of War.
Oh, okay. There's this scene in God of War 3 where Kratos, and this is towards the end, where he's going against Zeus, and he just like beats the living daylights out of him, but it's like a quick time event where you just like keep hitting X or whatever, and it's like a first person view camera, and you just keep punching Zeus like over and over and over for like 2 minutes. You just like knock the stars out of him, and his face gets bloodier and bloodier and bloodier and bloodier. But I mean, like, that's something that God of War's kind of come to rely on. So I'm hoping with this new one, with Kratos having like a child in this one, And I need to research the story more again because I can't remember like whose kid this really is. I know it's his kid and someone else's kid, but I'm hoping that they can take the series in a little bit different direction. There's like a different setting, different gods. Kratos is older, and he's got a kid to protect now, and so I'm hoping that they can, you know. It's always been a very mature rated game, but it hasn't always been the most mature game, and I'm so hoping they can kind of take the storytelling up a notch, personally.
Yeah. I would highly recommend you all go check out the trailer, because just from what I gathered from the trailer, it seems to me like it's going to be very in-depth, where it's going to be you're playing, obviously, as Kratos, but then you also have to take care of this kid, and the whole time along the way, this kid is, like, narrating certain things that are happening, or letting you know when certain things are happening, but also like giving you a little bit of backstory of like what had happened previous to that. So I think it looks actually really interesting. I mean, that whole like plot line of like having him explain things on the way kind of stuff, like I think that's kind of cool.
I think it really could be a turnaround for the series and move the series in a new direction, because the series has gotten stale a little bit. And the final one on my list that I'm excited for game-wise of 2018, and this isn't all the games I'm excited for, but this is probably, I mean, these 5 are my top 5, and Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be amazing. I have no doubt in my mind. I have full confidence in Rockstar Games. The first one is another one of those games that I sunk like an absurd amount of hours into, just riding around on my horse. You know, like just like riding around my horse, and I'd find a bandit and I'd shoot him, and I love these games. They're so much fun. This wild West setting.
I love Red Dead Redemption, and also Red Dead Nightmare. I don't know if any of you guys ever played like where the zombies came to that to me, when they ended up making that a part of it, that sold me. I already played Red Dead Redemption before that, but when they brought out Red Dead Nightmare, like I was just like, that's it. This game is amazing. Like
this is like your match made in heaven. You're like, oh, they put zombies in it. Right on, I'm in.
It was funny, perfect too.
I heard the DLC was like so good, and I played it one time for like a minute, and then I just like never picked it back up. I don't know why. I meant to, but I just never picked up the zombies portion. So I was always a little bit bummed out I never did. But as far as the main game goes, it looked amazing. And there's also a short trailer out for this as well. And I can't even get over how cool it looks. So it's like the Grand Theft Auto, but like, back in the Wild West. And so it's really cool. It's a unique dynamic.
Yeah, if anybody wants to, we will link the link up in one of these corners right over here of Tarek's video, where he actually does the breakdown of Red Dead Redemption 2 in the trailer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I did do a video of that, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
I totally did. That was a long time ago. Okay, so next up we have your list of movies that we are excited for.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the movies coming out in 2018. There's so many movies. It was really hard to choose just 5. So first one up on my list is Avengers: Infinity War. I am so excited for this movie. Oh my goodness. It's probably going to be the most anticipated movie of, personally, 2018 for me. I mean, there's definitely a lot of other movies that are super exciting, but this one, I mean, I don't know. What do you think, T-Rack? I mean...
Okay, so here's my deal, is that I've always loved all the Marvel movies, and I do have, like, a little bit of, like, fatigue going on with the superhero genre, because there's been, like... I'm watching, like, Marvel movies for, like, 10 years, but I feel like all of these movies, like the Iron Man movies, Captain America movies, Thor, whatever, it's all been leading to something big. Even the first Avengers, I didn't really even feel like there was as great of a threat, even though there was these giant monsters, whatever. But now that we have, like, Thanos is, like, such a big bad guy that I feel like all these movies have been leading to this, and I think this is going to be mind-blowing.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, it's going to be epic. Having all of these characters that we've been watching over the past, like, decade all come together in the same screen. Because, I mean, we've been seeing them slowly, little by little, come together in their own perspective movies, and then a few... in the Avengers, but to see them all come together at once, like, I have been waiting for that since the very beginning.
It does look really good, and it does make me wonder, though, like, where where the Marvel universe is going to go. I mean, I know they have movies planned afterwards. I get that. But where's the Marvel Cinematic Universe going to go after this? Because I feel like, you know, Thanos is like the baddest of the bad as far as their universe is concerned. And, you know, once they defeat him, where do they go with the Marvel Cinematic Universe? You know, like they've been building to this for so long that after that, like, what do they do? Do they just kind of like drop the Avengers and go in a different direction at that point? Or, you know, I wonder what their game plan is. I'm sure they have a plan. I don't know.
That's definitely a fair enough question. I'm sure they do have a plan. But yeah, I have no idea, because I mean, you're absolutely right. The biggest threat so far that they've worked up to is Thanos. So like, what do you do after Thanos is gone?
Right, you can't have Loki again. I mean, you know, like, so I mean, I just like, you can't go back to someone like Loki, even though like he's a bad guy. He's just kind of a jerk. Is like, you know, basically what he's been relegated to. So yeah, it's just, you know, I'm curious to see what they're gonna do. I think this movie is gonna like blow my mind, and I have very high expectations. I know everybody probably does at this point. We've all been waiting a long time, so it's gonna be very good, I think. So,
if I'm gonna make a prediction right now, I'm gonna say Avengers is probably gonna be the #1 grossing movie of 2018.
I mean, if I was a betting man, I'd say it's a very safe bet. That's, yeah.
I would say another huge one on that list that'll probably come in close to it as far as money-wise is going to be the second one on my list, and that is Wreck-It Ralph 2, Ralph Wrecks the Internet. It's definitely, I don't know if any of you have seen the original, but I love it. I think it's going to be amazing to have all of these characters come back to reprise their role. And also, too, something that's really awesome in this movie is they brought back all of the original voice actors of all of the Disney princesses. I'm not quite positive why they brought them all back or what they're going to be doing within the movie itself, but basically Ralph goes to the internet, and then he ends up somehow running into like Pocahontas, to Cinderella, to all of these Disney princesses, and all of them are voiced by the original voice actors.
That could be cool.
That's actually pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited about that. It should be a huge thing.
You know, I really like the original Wreck-It Ralph. I thought it was a very charming movie, if nothing else. You know, it had like pretty neat characters. I mean, like, I remember the scene. I think there was like M. Bison from like Street Fighter in there at one point.
Yeah.
You know, just all these little cool pop culture references. Yeah, Cubert. There's a lot of really cool pop culture references and stuff, you know, that I really enjoyed. And so I haven't. Do they have a trailer for the second one really out, or is it?
I think it's just like a teaser trailer.
Oh, gotcha. Because I was gonna say I haven't seen much about it, but I am excited for this one as well. So.
Yeah, it definitely looks really amazing, and it's all the same cast coming back, so definitely going to be another great one. Now, the next one up on our list, that's the third one, I'm really excited for. I love Steven Spielberg, and when I found out that he was directing this movie, I'm just like, yes, I'll take it. And that is Ready Player One. Now, for all of you not familiar with this particular movie, it was obviously an iconic book that's now adapted into a movie, but it has a lot of amazing references to really old things. Like, you have Iron Giant, Freddy Krueger, Tron. Like, there's just so many nostalgic, like, cult classic icons within this movie that it's just going to be amazing for that simple fact alone, I think, personally.
Yeah. I have read a lot. I haven't read the book. I've read a lot about this this movie coming out because there's been a lot of, you know, just people are really excited about it. And actually, when we were talking about this before we went live, I meant to go watch the trailer and then I didn't because we totally got sidetracked. And so I'm really bummed that I haven't watched it. I'm gonna watch it after this, but it does. I've read a lot about it and it looks really neat. I'm super excited for this one as well.
Yeah, when you go watch the trailer, you'll definitely. You'll know what we're talking about with the 80s, 90s references. Like, it's huge.
Yeah.
All right, and next up on my list is definitely going to be probably another big one when it comes for Disney, and that's going to be the Han Solo movie. Now, I know it's called Solo, a Star Wars story, but I'm sorry, no. I'm calling it the Han Solo movie right now.
So is the rest of the world. Nobody's going to call it Solo. I'm going to go watch Solo. No, nobody's going to call it that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It is so weird that that's what they decided to name it. Okay. Like, it just...
Well, this is one of those things, like, someone came up with this name and some, like, boardroom meeting, and they're like, Solo. And everybody was like, that's a great idea. And they have no idea, you know, like, what the rest of the world wants. It was just like a pitch in a marketing or in a in an office somewhere. And I am so Han Solo is one of my favorite Star Wars characters, and I am genuinely excited for this movie. I'm also genuinely worried about this movie. I know you know a lot about like they've been like switching directors. You were talking about that earlier, like the directors and the scripts and everything.
Yeah, they've already swapped directors twice. They've also rewritten the script like 2 or 3 times. So it's definitely going to be. Plus, there's been a lot of setbacks as far as delays on the set and different things. So it's definitely going to be really interesting to see like where this movie ends up going, at all. Because I know the premise that they want to have the whole backstory of how like Chewie and Han and Lando Calrissian and the Millennium Falcon, but if it's not done correctly or at what fans want, it may not work.
Yeah, I am cautiously optimistic about this movie, I guess, is my best thing, and I'm super excited. I'm worried about it, and I don't want it to like be a bad Star Wars. And honestly, like I said, I've said this many times before. I have really low cinema standards. I love almost every movie. As far as Star Wars goes, I love the prequels. I love the original trilogy. I love the new ones. There's not a single one I didn't like. There's one I like the least, but I'll still watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so I'm sure I'll love this movie. I am super worried that we've just been hearing about all these problems, and it makes me just like anxious, I guess, because I want this movie to be good.
Well, it makes it troubling when you see other movies that had similar issues that didn't do quite as well.
Right.
You have Justice League. Now, I know that was obviously because of a death in the family and the director had to step down. Totally understandable. But when you bring in another director after the movie's already like 80% shot, and then you got to turn around and correct course it, it doesn't end up doing anybody any justice, like Justice League. And then also, too, with, Suicide Squad, when they did that, when they brought in another director towards the very end and then totally mishmashed it. And, look what we got.
Yeah, and Suicide Squad was still a pretty good movie, but, like, it could have been so much better. Honestly.
Yeah, I really liked Suicide Squad. Yes, it could have been extremely better, especially with the Joker. They could have added so many more Joker scenes. I don't know why they cut so much of that out of there, trying to focus mainly on the Suicide Squad, like the team itself, which makes sense because that's what the movie's about. But if you're going to shoot hours upon hours of Joker, give us some more.
I read this story about it, and what it was is basically when they had showed the movie to the higher ups wanted it to be more like how it was in the trailers. It was very action-y and I don't know, just very lighthearted, I guess.
It was they were trying to go for Avengers, like the team up.
Kind
of trying to do the team up bad guy movie.
But originally, when they shot the movie, it was a much more serious affair, I guess. And they didn't like it. Like the higher ups didn't like that, and they wanted it to be and that's why when they cut it into that trailer where it was all they got Queen or whatever playing in the background and all this stuff, and that's what they wanted, and so that's why the movie got chopped up the way it did. And hopefully, the next Suicide Squad, they give whoever directs it, I don't know who's directing it, but they give him more free reign to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to see the next one. Hopefully it doesn't take long on that one.
Yeah.
All right, and next up after the Han Solo film, we have another one that's going to be really huge, and that's Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I am super excited for this movie. It definitely looks like they're retreading a little bit of ground with some older films, but I think overall that it's definitely going to be a new take on an original classic. So I'm really excited to see. I really like Bryce Dallas Howard, and I really like all of the characters and actors of this film. I'm really super stoked to see Ian Malcolm come back.
Yeah.
To reprise his role, Jeff Goldblum, which is really awesome. I loved Jeff Goldblum earlier this year in Thor Ragnarok. He played such an amazing character as the Collector's, I guess it's his brother or something. I think they're family somehow, the Collector and him anyways. But Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, it just looks like it's going to be really great. I'm super stoked and excited.
I'm excited too. I feel the same way you do. I feel like they're retreading ground, and hopefully the story ends up being different than what they're kind of showing in the trailers, or has more to it, I guess. And I do love all the actors. I love Chris Pratt. I think he's a funny guy.
Yeah, Chris Pratt. Sorry, I totally spaced his name off.
You're okay. And Jeff Goldblum. I want to hear that, that iconic "life will find a way," line in the movie somewhere. It does worry me that they're retreading ground. I have no doubt that it's gonna be a good movie. I just want them to take some risks, and that's the thing with Hollywood. Hollywood hates taking risks, and I get it from a business standpoint. It costs money to make these movies, and you got to recoup costs. So why not do something that's like a proven formula? But at the same time, you stand that chance of, if you do take a risk, of it being like wildly successful, and that's when you come out with these crazy movies like the original Avatar. Was like a crazy successful movie because somebody took like this giant risk of making like an almost entirely computer generated animated movie, and the whole world loved it. And so that's what happens when you take those risks. Sometimes you fail, sometimes you win, and I hope that they do take some sort of risk with this movie.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. I hope that they definitely do take a few risks. I am really excited though to see them tread back to some old things. I've heard there's been a few rumors about that we might see, so like the original Jeep that falls out of the tree with Alan Grant and the kids from the first one, we're gonna see that, and then we might also see Dennis Nedry, or I think it was Nedry if I'm not mistaken, the big old fat guy that ends up ruining the island in the first one.
Barbasol
shaving.
Nobody cares. And I hope that, things like that are completely okay.
We've got docs in here.
Yeah. Things like that are completely okay. Like throwbacks for the audience, like little like a wink at the audience type thing, is totally great. And it's totally okay. And like seeing that Jeep would be cool. Seeing Nedry would be like, I mean, wait, he's dead though, right?
Yeah, no, he's dead.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, how's he going to be in the movie? But I guess you'd probably see like his jacket or something.
Well, his Jeep technically was at the top of that hill, and then his body ended up it was still technically in the car.
Oh,
so if there's anything left of him in the car,
he could totally just be like skeleton style. Yeah, that would be cool. Okay, so and stuff like that, like a wink at the audience, acknowledging the past films and acknowledging, almost acknowledging the audience at that point is awesome. But it's just like I said, as far as like the main story goes, if you're just retelling, if you're just spinning circles with the same story over and over again, there has to be a line there, I guess. So there are a couple others that just real quickly we want to mention as far as just honorable mentions. I guess my only one honorable mention as far as a game goes, and this is the reason I didn't put it on my list, is because I am very... I'm optimistic, but at the same time, I'm very guarded with like all the latest controversy with like microtransactions and loot boxes and all this stuff. Is Anthem? Anthem looks to be like the competitor for Destiny. Like it could be the Destiny killer. And it looks really good. If you haven't seen the trailer, you need to go look it up.
I haven't. I will. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, you need to check it out, dude. It looks really good. But after this whole controversy with Battlefront, and I think it's it's made by EA, like whoever makes Mass Effect is making it.
No apologize to Destiny 2 fans or Destiny fans. I like Destiny, but if somebody can come out with a game similar to Destiny and make the story and the gameplay amazing, you've already got me.
Yeah, and that's me too, man. I spent like 3 years of my life on Destiny, but if somebody comes out with a game that is better than Destiny and doesn't revolve around loot boxes, I will jump ship like so fast. Like Destiny has my loyalty only based on the fact that I put a lot of time into it and I built a lot of great relationships and had a lot of good memories from it. But my love for them is not reciprocated. It doesn't seem, like they don't love their fans. Where like this latest event, the Dawning, I'll get off my soapbox here in a sec. This Dawning event, their Christmas event, was like an event in the past of years past where it was like kind of a thing where you could purchase stuff if you wanted to, as far as microtransactions, and there was like special winter themed gear. But there was still ways to earn them. And this year, it's so locked behind a paywall. It's so bad. Like, excuse me. It's so much worse than in years past. And it just goes to show you they're heading more and more and more into this territory of microtransactions and loot boxes and they're gonna get what's coming to them as far as backlash goes. So they just need to, they need to course correct. Otherwise, they're gonna fail hard.
Well, if anybody wants to take a cue from anybody, I mean, it would be all the developers taking a card from EA.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Don't copy EA.
EA is a laughing
your game
stock
will
of the
do
gaming
amazing
industry right now.
I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it. They were like number one.
Have
and
you
then
seen
they literally dropped.
all the devs are making fun of EA at this point? Like at the video game awards and everything like that. Like they're just the laughing stock of the industry at this point. And it's crazy.
I feel really sorry for all the people who work at EA because I honestly don't know who to blame. I don't know who to blame for this because you can't.
People in suits, man. That's who it is.
The higher ups who said we have to have more money in this game. I blame them. I feel really bad though for all the developers who created the game. The game itself is amazing.
All those guys who created like Star Wars, they worked so hard on that game, and I'm sure they put their heart and their souls into that game, and everyone hates it. And I don't know about you, but like for me, if I put like 2 years of work into something, and the world like unilaterally told me like to like step off, like we don't like this, I'd be pretty crushed, honestly. So that's gotta suck, I don't know.
I feel really bad for all those developers because the games themselves were amazing. It's what the suits did from the high up that made it crash and burn.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
To all of you guys who created the game, hats off to you. You guys are amazing.
Yeah.
A few.
Oh, yeah,
so just no, you're good. Also, to move on from the gaming, did you have any others for honorable mentions?
Off the top of my head, that was it for honorable mentions. One I'm excited for. I'm just worried about. But I know there's other movies.
Yeah, there's definitely some honorable mentions for movies, and one of the first ones I had was Deadpool 2 that I'm really excited for. Another really awesome one that I know me and Tarek have talked about in the past is Tomb Raider. Does come out here in a very soon, which we're super excited for. The New Mutants, which is the new X-Men movie, kind of the spin-off. Also the most anticipated, The Incredibles 2, which looks really awesome. I'm very excited. I love the fact that they're not jumping ahead in time, and Jack the baby that we saw in the original is still the baby. So they're literally continuing from right where it left off. And then also the new Mission Impossible 6. The reason I'm most excited for this is to see Henry Cavill and his mustache, so we can finally see what the big deal was of why his mustache had to be digitally removed.
It better be a glorious mustache.
Yeah, it better be freaking amazing.
This film's going to succeed just because of the mustache. It could be like a terrible movie, and everybody's going to be like, Cavill mustache. I am excited for all those movies. The two I am cautious about. Deadpool 2, I think it'll be great, but here's my concern is that, so Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was a very good movie, but there were parts in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 where they were clearly trying way too hard to be funny and witty. Like in the first movie, it came so naturally, and it hadn't really been done before with these characters. And then the second movie came along, and they were like trying to do the same thing. It wasn't as natural. And I worry that Deadpool 2 is going to kind of suffer from the same thing, where he's trying to be like edgy, but he's like trying too hard.
Hopefully not. But
I hope
not.
Then
again, though, Deadpool is that character, though.
I
he
know.
Always is trying to one up everybody. So I feel like Deadpool could get away with doing that, whereas like you're right, like it's kind of like, why did they try doing that for the Avengers or the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It just worries me. And then what was the second one on your list? Oh no, Tomb Raider. So Tomb Raider, I am super excited about. But at the same time, my personal gripe coming from me is we've already got a beautiful cinematic story. In two different games, two different great stories of this Tomb Raider series, and this reboot is based on those games. Just go play the game. It's a beautiful game. It's a beautiful story. Like, why do we need this movie? And I'm super excited for it. I mean, you always see like the movies have like a video game adaptation, and this is like one of the few instances of that being reversed, where the video game has a movie adaptation. And so I don't know. I love the game so much that I hope it's not the exact same story. I guess is my thing. I guess so.
One of the things I'm probably most concerned about is I was hoping for a more action-packed, like real action, not like CG. One of the things I remember that I was really most excited for about this movie is that the director wanted to not heavily rely on CG and have practical effects. Well, from all of the previews that I've seen and all of the new images and stuff, it definitely does not seem like he's taking that route.
Right.
Like, none of it's practical. It's all CG. Like, for any of you who have seen it, like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When she's running across on the airplane wing, or when she's, like, doing the duck down and, like, sliding through the hallway and there's, like, these crazy things flying around. Like, I feel like, I mean, even Indiana Jones, okay? And, like, back in the day from Raiders of the Lost Ark, like, when he was going through the tunnel to go get the chalice for everlasting life, like, even that seemed super real, and it was practical effects.
Right.
Like, it was so practical you had no idea. So I just don't understand why people rely so heavily on CG when you can get away with real stuff.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I totally agree. And I don't know if it's maybe easier in Hollywood to hire a studio to do a lot of those effects for you, and maybe it speeds up production time, or I don't know. I'm not a filmmaker, so I don't know. But I totally agree. I mean, there are some movies out there that, you know, when you see the effects, it's like laughable. You know, and, like, this is a perfect example. I know this has been talked about like a million times, but the Henry Cavill's mustache thing for Superman. But then go watch Guardians of the Galaxy 2. What's the name of Ego? The actor who plays him.
Kev.
I can't remember his name.
I apologize.
Yeah,
I want to say Kevin Costner, but that's the wrong. That's
definitely
totally
not Kevin Costner. Anyway, I know y'all knew who I'm talking about if you've seen Guardians 2. But then if you watch the scenes where he's younger, like in the beginning of the movie, like, you can't even tell almost that it's CG. Like, it looks amazing. And so, I don't know, like, so many movies out there have like laughable effects, but then you get a movie like Guardians of the Galaxy that did such a great job. Or like on Rogue One, like Princess Leia's face and that General, the old guy, whatever his name was, they both had terrible CGI for their faces.
Grand Toff Marfin?
Yeah.
Grand Toff Marfin. Why can't I think of his
Grand
name?
Moff Tarkin.
Yes, thank you. Grand Moff Marfin.
Grand Tarkin Moffin. You know, and so I don't know. I wish they would do more practical effects, I guess, in these movies, and because there's still a place for that in this world, and a lot of times it ends up looking so much better. You know, you're absolutely right. So yeah.
Well, that's why I'm really excited for Jurassic World, because the director came out and actually said that wherever they can use
they're using a lot of animatronics and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's going to use animatronics and like actual real. Like, just it's that's what I'm most excited for, to see like what it looks like real, not CG.
Yeah, I'm excited for all these movies and all these games. But we are, I think, out of time for the day.
Yes, we are. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We were a little rambly at the end there, but we do appreciate you guys watching. If you guys have any movies or games next year that are coming out the next year that you are super excited about, be sure to let me know, because I want to know about it too.
Down below. Let us know.
And until next time, guys.
All right, always remember, stay awesome.
Hopefully it doesn't cut it off this time for you.